Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
So welcome to the show. This is 190, and today we have Katrina, and she is a business and marketing coach for entrepreneurs who want to make a lot more money doing what they love. She's also a 12 times international bestselling author with 20 books, including Love Yourself, Successful, and Jumpstart Your New Business Now. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Jumpstart your business. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches and therapists get the message heard to the people who need to hear it. So Katrina is the CEO of jumpstartyourbusinessnow.com and jumpstartpublishing.net. She's a 21-year business and marketing coach for entrepreneurs who want to make a lot of money doing what they love, as we said. Now, she loves helping entrepreneurs find ways to be more efficient, productive, and profitable, and consistently finds ways her clients can do this by looking at the big picture, all the way down to the nitty-gritty of what they're doing, saying, sending, and posting. So welcome to the show, Katrina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So would you first like to just share with the listeners a little bit more about your actual backstory, how you came to be doing what you're currently doing?
Sure. So I have always been in some kind of marketing or sales job. And so that kind of stuff comes easy to me, thankfully, because it's the two most important things that you do as an entrepreneur is marketing and sales. So it's come a little bit easier to me than a lot of people. I think my first job was selling ice cream at Thrifties. So I was always selling them up from one scoop to two or three. I was selling people up at 16 years old. So I know I didn't get it done. But who doesn't want more ice cream? The job that really got me into this business was in advertising sales. I used to sell advertising in the local newspaper. This was 23 years ago or something. People were still reading the newspaper. And I just saw people going out of business left and right, and because they just didn't know what they didn't know. And they were throwing money randomly into different forms of advertising and marketing. And so I knew all about the local stuff and was trying to teach them other things. And I wouldn't just try to sell them an ad. I would be like, when they come in, then you have to do the in-store promotion, and then you have to get their contact information, then you have a bucket for their cards, and then you have to follow up with them, and then you have to build a database, and then you have to, and none of the other ad reps would do that. So I just go an extra mile for people like that. People need help. I didn't know what I didn't know when I started my business either. I had to hire coaches and
absolutely. The problem is, or the problem I see, so we deal with a lot of coaches or therapists, is that they get their qualification, they spend thousands training in whatever area they're in, but nothing seems to be spoken about. Okay, once you qualify, how do you actually get clients? And so there's coming into this space like all excited in the beginning, because they're newly qualified and they're really ready to take on the world. But it's a whirlwind. And especially, I'm sure you've seen over the years, the whole landscape has completely changed, and the overwhelm can set in because there's so many, what do I do? Facebook, YouTube, this, that, shiny object syndrome. So where do they start?
Yeah. That's a big question. It depends where they start. It depends what you're doing, what your goals are, how much money you need to make, what your confidence level's at, what your time commitment availability is, all of those factors. That's why I say that I look at the big picture all the way down to the nitty gritty, because some people will just say, you need to have a program, or you need to have a membership, or you need to have a podcast, or you need to have but they won't look at that everything and how it all flows to that person's personality, to their availability, and to their needs. Some people tell me they only want to make $3,000 so they can take a vacation every month or whatever, make that every month so they can save up for vacation or something. And other people want $30,000 a month. And so it's dramatically different what you would do.
Yeah, totally different strategies. But you 12 times best-selling author. How did that come about? What made you go into, so you're into sales, you're selling advertising space. So what happened to get you into writing your very first book?
I never wanted to become an author, actually, because in the beginning, I was a marketing coach at the time. I've morphed into business coaching. But in the beginning, I was like, why do I want to sell a $20 book when I can sell a $200 thing, a $2,000 thing, or a $20,000 thing? So it didn't really compute to my money-making brain. And until I saw friends and people getting on stages with their book or on the local media. And I'm like, oh, use it as a marketing tool. Okay. So that was when I started doing books. But the first 3 that I wrote was just, I wrote a chapter in a book. And because I didn't have time, I was still building my business, but I saw the value of being in a book. So I wrote a chapter in 3 different compilation books before I wrote my own full book. The first one was with Allie Brown, who was huge. She's still really successful, but back then she was really big in the online marketing space. And so that got me on TV locally. And I was like, oh, I need to just do more books. But my own full book didn't come until I had more time to write, which means I had more clients coming in and money consistently. When you don't have a lot of money coming in, you should focus on getting clients and not writing a book, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that is it. So many people come in and they're told, yes, start a book, do this, write a book, start a podcast, do this. And yeah, time. Most people come into this space, don't they? Because they actually want to buy back their time as opposed to working a 9 to 5. And the reality is, for a lot of people starting out, is they're addicted to this. They're caught up in lots of, some stuff is needed when you're starting out, but it's very easy to get caught up in the things that aren't actually generating money rather than focusing on the things that, forget that, like you say, you need clients in the door.
It really is. Yeah. You just need to focus on getting clients. It's not that difficult. A little bit of marketing, networking, speaking, and sales conversations, and you got clients. But you got to know how to do those efficiently and effectively and have the right words when you're doing them. But you don't have to do all the other things yet. I call them more advanced strategies. So let's get you into a consistent money-making business, and then we can add an advanced strategy or 2 or 3, right? Yeah, doesn't mean you can't write maybe a chapter in a compilation book. I published 100 people in my own compilation books, the Jumpstart Your Blank book, over the last 5 years, and they were just still building their business. But it doesn't take that long to write a chapter, and then you get all the publicity from it. But
so baby steps.
Yeah.
Like you say, I don't think they look. It's funny you say about looking at the big picture, because if you're in it, you're in this for the long term. Plan it out. What do you need to do first? And then I haven't got time to write, but it is on the agenda. I will get back to you, Katrina.
Your order of importance is critical.
When I've got more time. But for people that are thinking, well, okay, yes, I want to jumpstart my business now. So what do they do?
I say the biggest thing is you got to focus. And probably focus on doing less than doing more, because you're trying to do all the things. I have people saying, I think I need to start TikTok. And I'm like, you're not even maximizing Facebook and LinkedIn yet. Why are you adding another one or whatever? Just stay focused on the 1 or 2 things that are going to move the needle. And I have a speech on like picking a lane. Picking a lane in your marketing is we all have different personalities. I'm more of an extrovert. And so I love networking and speaking. I love getting on stage. I want to be in the spotlight. I want to share my tips. I want to introduce myself at a networking event and talk to people. And some people are like, no, I don't want to do any of that. And so they want to hang out behind the computer. They want to do social media, try to nurture a group, maybe get people into an online course. And that's a different lane than the other lane. So you don't have to be in both lanes. You don't have to do everything in both lanes. You can pick a lane and get plenty of business if you do enough in that lane. That's what I say.
Great tips. And you're so right, because it is, for some people, the idea of even being a guest on a show, let alone starting the road show. No, it's not the right thing. You don't have to, but they feel like that's what they've got to do. But as you say, there's many, all roads lead to Rome, don't they say? Just pick one.
Yeah.
As long as you pick one and stick with it. And like you say, I'm thinking about being introverted or extroverted. Each are equal in their skill set, but they're different skill sets. So yeah, work with your strengths rather than putting yourself out there. But Katrina, I will ask then, because this is the sort of slight contradiction in my head, is you still need to step out your comfort zone, right? So some
100%.
people can stay in their comfort zone because they might be justifying it in their head that no, this should be my lane. So how do you know? What advice would you give to people to pick that lane? Because is it really the right thing for you, or are you staying in your comfort zone, or just go and practice and upgrade your skill set?
Yeah, there's plenty of introverts that are also speakers, and they just put in lots of extra buffer time around when they speak, right? So they can rest up, and that's fine. I think if you're in your comfort zone, if you're not seeing results. So if you're not seeing the money you want to see and you're trying to just do what feels comfortable, sure, I think everybody is going to need to step out of their comfort zone to do something. Most people, it's with charging more. I can't tell you how many people, the number one advice I give them is raise your rates right now. What's the fastest way to make more money? Raise your rates. And you don't have to do anything different. You can raise your rates and make more money. Most people are so scared to do that. Nobody's even buying at the rates I'm at now. That's because you're too low and you don't look like an expert, or because they don't believe that you're worth it, or you just don't know how to sell the thing yet. You have to learn sales skills. I don't know.
I think that for me is a biggie, especially so a lot of people that I meet, they are therapists, healers, they've got this giving nature, and they do forget that whatever it is you do, however much you're helping people, if you're in business, you're in sales, and yet there's this sort of resistance to having that sales talk. They want to give, and they're waiting for people to just come to me and buy. And I know it happens for the big people. All they got to do is say something and people will press that buy. For me, that's never worked.
No.
There's always that middle part.
No, we're always going to be, unless you're a big name, right? Les Brown, I don't know who else, Marianne Williamson, or somebody big name. But how do you get to be big name? Someone finds you out. Someone pushes you out to the world. Someone gets you on a really well-known TV show, or just you get found, right? Found or promoted by somebody usually. And so you just have
they all have a story. They all have their story, but people seem to see the end result and go, oh, I would be able to do this if I was Les Brown, or I was Mel Robbins, or they all started somewhere.
Yes.
So I'm sure that they had to do the things that we need to do to get things moving until you're at that celebrity status.
I've been in business for 21 years. I'm still not a celebrity. Okay. So maybe to some people, which is very humbling to know that some people consider me a wow person.
Well,
and
12 times. It's a pretty impressive resume. 12 times bestselling
12-time
author.
international bestselling author out of the 20 books, because the beginning books didn't matter then, right? No, not a lot of people were doing the bestsellers in the beginning. Even my very first book wasn't a bestseller because it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing 10, 12 years ago, really, to most of us. Now it's everybody and their brother becomes a bestseller when they do a book. And
again, that's the thing. That is it. So run us through it, because it is one of those things that I've put on the back burner. Eventually I will get around to doing one. And then there are other people that say, no, write a book. It is a marketing tool. And I speak. I haven't, of course, since last November got up on stage, but because I'm too busy doing the podcast. But yes, that would be a lovely thing to do. So it does make sense. But do you think that is what puts a lot of people off, is because sometimes the overwhelm or the story we create in our head of how much work it's going to take then stops us from actually taking that step and planning out a strategy to actually just get the book written?
I'll tell you, now that I have so many books, I'm more of an advocate of just hurry up and get a book done and then get a next book done and get a next book done. Because every time you publish a book, and if you do a launch or whatever, you get publicity, you get more people on your email list, you can get on local TV, you can get on podcasts, you can do a lot of things. You can get a speech for that book or whatever. You just get a lot of visibility when you publish a book. So now I think we'll just publish one every year. Like, why not? I have 2 more coming out this year and most of them are compilations. Okay. So I will tell you, most of my books are compilation books that I've either written a chapter in, or I have a series of compilation books too, where I've published 100 authors and another book coming out this year with another 9 authors. It's easy to get in a compilation book and do that. And then boom, you can have a book. That's what I did. The first 3 books that I was in, I just wrote a chapter in because I was busy building my business and I didn't have time to write a whole book. It takes a lot of effort and time to really put a full book together. So if you're still building your business and you need consistent cash flow, do not try to write your own book, is my opinion. Maybe write a chapter in somebody else's book, then they're going to do all the work and you're going to get the visibility because of it. Great. That's just like one launch throughout the year that you can do. And then the next year, maybe do a different one. And the next year, do a different one until you have consistent cash flow. And then put out your first book, perhaps.
So really what I'm hearing there, and that's actually got my brain going, because it's just really about repurposing the same content. Say, if you get one written, you could turn that into a talk, a speech. You could then expand on that and actually turn it into a course. So actually it could almost come from the one written format that could be turned into video or video series, online courses, speeches, the whole shebang.
Yeah. And so like my first full book was Love Yourself Successful. And here's the first version in 2012. And then the second version is behind me. It's 10 years later. I updated it into a second edition. But the reason I was writing that book was because I wanted to start doing 3-day enrollment events for my masterminds, right? And so I thought, okay, I'll write the book and then that content will become the content for the event. But that didn't happen because I didn't get the book done fast enough. So then I had to come up with content for the event. And then I thought, oh, the content from the event will be the content for the book. And that didn't happen either. And there was lessons in both. But it doesn't always work out the way you want it. Now, the book, the Jumpstart Your New Business Now book, that was my first group program. So my first group training that I did, that I only sold one person into, by the way, but then I went over and did it again and again for over 3 years. I did it. I ran it live 8 times, and it was a 90-day program for $4,000. But the first time I ran it, I did it anyways with one person. It was a very inexpensive one-on-one, but I just wanted to get it out. And then the second time I got 8 people. But when I was done, like doing it live, and it was a box, buy now, do it yourself kind of thing, I thought, I'm just going to take content from that, transcribe it into a book. So then this is the book. So the $4,000 program is now a $20 book. But it can be that easy. So you have to either think, am I going to create the course first, or am I going to create the book first? That's going to be the course. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't that way. As far as writing a chapter in a book, I don't write the same thing in every book. So every book I always write something a little different, because then as I'm listening to prospects and listening to people out there and they say, oh, my challenge is technology. Oh, I've got a book for you where I wrote a chapter on technology and systems. And someone else might say, I got a problem with my significant other not supporting me. Oh, I've got a book for that. You should get this book, right? And so if you write different lessons in different books, then you've got a bunch of different things that will attract the different prospects that are coming your way.
It still sounds a lot of work. So it's for us, because I know for you, it sounds like actually, okay, we might be overthinking things, and it doesn't have to be the big issue that, my little mind is going, oh, I'd rather talk than write. But mind you, we've got apps on it. There you go. I'm already making excuses because I can still dictate rather than write.
My email newsletters every morning when I get out of the shower, when I'm doing my hair, I'm like, ooh, this is a perfect thought. And so I'll start an email to myself and I'll just talk through. And then when I get to my desk in the morning, ooh, there's my email already rewritten. I can just copy and paste it into the email and send it out.
Oh, now that is a fantastic tip.
all about
if there's
efficiency and price.
people. Yeah. And I suppose it's just in the beginning, it might seem overwhelming, but when you're doing it consistently and it's just then, so for you, it's second nature. You're doing it as you getting out the shower. Multitasking.
When an idea
but
comes
actually
to you.
using it. Yeah. When it comes,
Yeah.
what a great tip. Rather than, I think a lot of people might get to their computer and stare at a screen for hours. So actually use it that way, and then you're more efficient and you're utilizing your time better. That's what it sounds like.
It's just, I'm all about getting more stuff done faster so I can reach more people and make more money, and showing people how to do it too. Because they don't always think of these little tricks. I've been doing this for 21 years, so I've got little tricks for being more efficient and productive, because I have to stay focused, because I don't want to work as long as I did in the beginning, right? I keep shrinking the hours of the day that I'm working. And so I have to be super efficient with the time that I'm spending. And I'm making more money now than I was when I was working this many hours.
Yeah. And that, I suppose, links back to what you said at the beginning, really, about actually doing less. Sometimes when we're doing, because we think we've got to, or we should be doing X, Y, Z, and we're doing too much, actually bring it down. And I suppose for me, this is where the sprinkling of woo-woo comes in, because for me, it is about starting the day with some form of morning ritual, however you want to do it. Yes, I will meditate. More than meditate, I call it, I'm practicing my unthinking, which is weirdly when the ideas come up. I suppose that's the woo-woo. And then when I do go to my computer, I am actually far more productive and get things done in 10 minutes rather than procrastinating and spending hours doing something that really could have taken 10 minutes. Does that work with you? Do you have a morning ritual?
Yeah, I do some different things in the morning depending on what time I wake up. This morning I was up very early because I had a podcast interview before yours. And I'm Pacific time. I know we're recording this, but it's, okay. So no, I didn't have a morning ritual this morning other than feed the dog and get some coffee. But normally I sit down. I like to have 3 hours in the morning before I even go into my office and I'm working from home, because I can listen to a podcast or I can listen to a training and then get some ideas. And sometimes I get ideas for what I'm going to share in my email newsletters. I don't always plan the content out ahead like some people do. Some people have these content calendars. And I'm like, I can't even think that far ahead. Are you kidding me? I'm like, what's on my mind today, or what do people know today? And it just comes in. I guess that's my sprinkling of woo, is I listen to my intuition. I listen to people and I listen to my clients and I observe what the struggles are, and then boom, I'll write about that. And so it's easy for me. It's not easy for everybody to do that. Okay.
I suppose that comes from doing the work back in the beginning, and because it's become so habitual, then you can actually, I think probably everybody could actually do that, but a lot of people, they don't trust. We've been conditioned to not trust our intuition. And I suppose when people are new, they're even less trusting because they have all this. We've all been there. I'm still working through some of mine, imposter syndrome, and I'm not worthy of this. That, because that is sometimes part of the process if you haven't done the work. So it takes time, it takes practice. And then I suppose with the experience that you have, yes, you're at a place where you do totally trust your intuition when it comes to these kind of things. So yeah, you can save time. And if everybody did trust it a little bit more, trusted the woo-woo, they would be more in the flow anyway, and they would be able to do that. Would you agree?
Yeah, I had a big lesson in 2008 on the doing versus the being. And because I was always a doer, I was like, what do I need? And I went to this, I hired a coach that year. I've had previous coaches. And I said, I need to make some money. I need to make more money this year. Are you going to show me how to get to 6 figures? So I wasn't quite to 6 figures yet. I really wanted to hit that number. And he's, yep. And then he came, and then I'd go to the mastermind meetings and I'd be in front of the room, right? The 15 people with all eyeballs on me. I'd be like, okay, guys, this is what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. This is all stuff I've got. What should I do now to get to $100,000? And they say, Katrina, just be. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I need to do to be? I don't understand. Like, just be love, Katrina. Just be love. And I'm like, what the F does that mean? I don't understand. What do I need to do? And I'm sure a lot of the listeners are the beers and not necessarily the doers. And so that whole year I cried because I was like, I don't understand. So I would go to events and I would just try to be open to whoever came, and the perfect people sat down next to me and then hired me. And it all worked itself out. But it was tumultuous the whole year, whatever that word is. It was hard. But at the end of that year, I made over $100,000, and I also found a new love of my life. So I got love in my life and money in my business. At the end of that year, I didn't do anything different than what I was already doing. I was being different, and I was crying the whole way because it was frustrating, but it worked, right? Now that love didn't stick around. He broke my heart in 2 years, but it's all good because I found the perfect love now. But so that started my journey on how to give people more love in their life and money in the business, which sparked the event, which sparked the book. So that journey, that year was the pivotal year for me to trust the doing and the being, to really learn that myself, but then be able to teach it over the next 20 years.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. For me, that is just, it is massive. I would call myself, I've been a student of the self-development arena for years. But 20 years ago, where are we? My daughter is 24. She was 4. Yeah, 20 years ago, I ordered The Secret. 20 years ago, I was really going into that world, but I would realize I was getting it, or I was perceiving it wrong.
Yeah.
Thought, I've got, control my thoughts. Think, no, that's the doing part. That's the ego. It's the being. And interestingly, I also read at that time, so I could have got it back then. I focused on the wrong one, was Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. But I only read it once, and there's the difference. I listened to The Secret over and over, and I listened to people, thoughts become things. And it was only really, it must have been last year before we launched the radio station, I rebought Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now on Audible, because I don't read books anymore, I admit. Sorry. I'm an Audible person. Yeah. And I had him on repeat. And it was like this, typical me. I've been overcomplicating things, making it harder than it should be. And actually this practicing being, because people's perception that if you're being, you're not doing anything, and we live in a doing world. But it's the opposite. It's actually, yes, when you practice your being, the doing part gets done a lot quicker.
Yes. So,
and a lot better.
So is that the book you're writing? The being versus the doing?
Oh!
Stop overcomplicating things.
Yeah. Oh, you're putting ideas in my head, Katrina. Putting ideas in my head. Yeah,
honestly, I have many ideas for you, Karen. Yes, and one of the big ideas people don't think about with books, and I'm just going to go to that real quick, because you can make a lot of money when you do your own compilation book. So you have a following, you have guests, you have clients, you have coaches that are following you. Bring them all into a book and publish them in a book with your brands. See, and I do the work.
Oh.
I do the work.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
this is what I did with my client Mel on Six Figure Chicks, also an international bestseller. She brought her clients in, and we did her brands. So I have a lot of those. Yeah. Yes, that's an easy way to get a book done. You don't do any of the work, and you make money. So do your clients do, because they're going to get clients from being in the book, right?
Now, that is an idea.
Yes.
We do have a podcast network. It's not just mine. We do have a network of people. Oh,
I know.
See, Katrina. So this is where you have to have these conversations, because, again, like I said at the beginning, we can come in and we have our own view on things that, book, it's not for me. Oh, I haven't got the time. I'm busy being busy. But actually, when you put it like that, really, a chapter. Come on, how much content do I create in a week? Surely I can do a chapter.
You probably already got it written on your website somewhere.
Oh dear, that's a crazy thought. So your niche is wide. Do you just focus on entrepreneurs of all types and businesses and niches?
I do. I'm an anti-nicher when it comes to the ideal target audience, the age group, and then all that stuff. Because the way that I niche is I want to work with people who are hungry to make more money and really build a bigger business for the purpose of impacting more people, of course, but also to have a better life for themselves and their family. So those people are the people I want. The people that are frustrated with trying to figure it out themselves, the people that have tried different things and it's not working and they're not making the money and they're feeling undervalued, those are the people. I don't care if you're 20 or you're 70. I have lots of clients in their 60s and 70s who are reimagining themselves after retirement, and they're finally doing something they're excited about, and they have no limitations, and they're putting no limitations on themselves. I love those people. Right?
I go against the micro niche, and I think, really? Why? Again, it's down to, like you said this earlier about, we're all different, aren't we? And we all work differently. And it suits me doing lots of different things. Yeah, I'm probably a little bit ADHD. So that suits me. I like to be busy doing. I would go out of my mind if I was having the same conversation with somebody over and over every single day.
Yeah.
And so that's great. That kind of advice for one program and oneness and one target audience, that might be right for some people. I'm not saying it isn't, but for me, no, that's not how I want to run my day. I love the idea that I get to speak to amazing people like yourself. Everybody I speak to is doing different things. They're serving different communities in different ways. And I'm just like, oh, wow, because I just find it all quite fascinating. That works for me. All this advice of, yes, you should do it this way. Oh, my last coach, one program, I'm like, we have come down. We have. Yeah. I admit, I have brought it back in a lot.
Yes. Me too. Being in business for so long, you just keep adding things, and then all of a sudden you're like, and then you got to release and stay focused here. So now I was doing the speaker network. I'm releasing that. So now it's just business and books. Let's get to
keep it simple.
Yeah,
business and books.
Which
and when
is
they
still
both
a lot. It's still a lot of different things, but you're right. When you talk to different people, like I have a roofing company, I have a client, I have a brush removal company, I have Mary Kay people, I've had shamanic healers, health coaches, of course, and business people, and all kinds of different people, nonprofits. It doesn't matter.
That's what makes life interesting. And again, I suppose for some people, we've all got our different human needs that are different priorities. So, okay, for somebody like us, that works, isn't it? We need that variety, that spice of life. For other people, maybe they need, but I suppose this is why coaching is, I think it's almost gone too far micro niche. And then sometimes you find somebody and it's my way or the highway, and you're like, yeah, but I don't want to do it like that. So having a bespoke package to offer people, which is what you're doing, man, we've got to go back to that, haven't we? Have you seen, you've been doing this for 23 years, did you say? 21 years. 21 years. So you must have seen the trends, the different trends over that time. Where do you see the trends changing in the future?
Honestly, the problem with the trends is that a lot of people still don't do the basics. They keep latching on to the new trends, and they're still not doing the basics, which is have a website that converts into an email list, have really succinct email and nurturing plus video and direct mail and phone, frankly, phone blasts and phone calls and I was doing follow-up phone calls yesterday, okay? People have gotten away from what works, and they keep trying the new bright, shiny thing, but they're not doing the stuff that works. And that is what, if they just stayed and did the stuff that works, they wouldn't have to do all this other stuff. They could, but
Do you think that comes from actually when they really look within, is this fear? And I'll say this because this was me, right? when I first got involved in the online industry, 2016, I had spent a quarter of a century, my life was jumping around a studio, right? I taught fitness. I loved it. I used to have a personal training business, which is quite big. I didn't enjoy it because I wanted to teach groups. And it was less money until I had my own fitness studio. But that was my life. What did I know about computers or online anything when I started in 2016? And I admit, it was like, oh, I can hide behind my computer, right? I'll be fine doing video, but what I mean is I can hide. I don't have to sell, because I never had to sell anything. People came to us. So the idea of selling something and putting yourself out there, the going into the online world was, oh, I can just build this and people will buy. They will just, and they're avoiding. I realize that now because I didn't know how to sell anything until I joined that company. But do you think that's what's going on, is people are waiting to have these things built and that people will just do it when, do you know anybody selling high ticket stuff that isn't actually sold over the phone eventually?
Or events, yeah.
Speaking from stage, or somebody who's actually getting on a call, whether it's their team, but the actual thing. Yes, the automated systems can do a lot of the work and the nurturing, but the bottom line, when they get their credit card out for a high ticket item, is sold on the phone. You've got to at some point do some kind of active prospecting.
Yes. I think the majority of people do. I think occasionally you'll see people selling big things from stage or from the online without having a conversation. And that's like your Brendan Burchards, Marie Forleo, those kinds of people. So sure, if you're someone, but how do you get to that level? I don't know. I'm
going to do a lot of bad sales calls.
Lots of visibility. They had lots of joint venture. I know Marie from before she was famous, and she was in a program. That person promoted her, and boom, she took off. Now that's not the only thing that made her famous, but I'm just saying, the right place, the right time. Sometimes you join groups and they're big dollar groups because that person is going to do something to give you visibility, and that's a lot of people have been made successful because of that. The person before them brought them with them, kind of thing. But a lot of people aren't willing to do those big investments that are going to give them that visibility, even, which is, that's their choice.
It is a funny thing. It's interesting, isn't it? If I look back and then I think, oh, why didn't I just go for it back then? And maybe that was the imposter syndrome and all that malarkey coming in. But I'm probably talking about myself here, but I'm sure there's others like I was, starting out in a business. You think you've got to do everything yourself, and you're gonna work at it because you need to start making money before you then invest. And now I think, man, I should have just, if I knew I was in it for the long term, I'd made a decision, I was committed. Why didn't I just go for it back then? Because the learning curve is so quicker. You get the proper stuff done and it's easier to scale. But so many people out there, I see it as they're not really treating their business as a business. It's a hobby.
And you do go faster when you have a mentor or a coach. That's why I hire people. I've had at least 15 coaches over the last 21 years, and to the tune of probably $250,000 is what I've invested in those. Probably more. I think I lost count at that.
Yeah, I haven't added it up.
But yeah, I did add it up because it matters, I think. And each, like that 1 year, the being, the doing, that was $25,000 investment. And I was thinking along the way, like, I made a huge mistake. He's not showing me how to make more money, but he was, right? And the group was. So in his way, but I was so frustrated, like, why did I spend this money? I'm not getting what I need. But I stuck it out and I got what I needed. A lot of people give up because they don't see the bigger picture when the mentor sees the bigger picture. So your mentor sees your future, your friends see your now, right? Mm-hmm. And you only see your now.
Yeah. So what I'm taking from this conversation, listeners, is look at the big picture. think big picture. Yet again, we can get caught up in, well, I suppose we're told it so often, and we still get caught up in the detail of it, which is why I suppose this whole practicing being, so that because your inner, whatever you want to call it, your inner soul, your inner voice, your whatever, knows. It knows, but we don't trust it. If we just, because all the time it is ourselves that are in our own way, isn't it? I have to give myself a good talking to. Karen, get out of your way, because I can still get caught up in the stories and have to check in and go, oi, stop.
You do.
Love it.
Big and if you're thinking of the big picture and where you're really trying to head, and you know, the kind of money that you want to make, you're not overthinking what you're going to write in your email newsletter today, or what you're going to put on the post on Facebook, for God's sakes. Just throw something out there and move on. Like, it doesn't matter. One post, one email is not going to make or break your business. So just do what's on top of mind right now. Put another one out later. It almost doesn't matter, as long as you're just consistently doing stuff and sharing your message, like you do, like you tell people, right? Share whatever's on top of your mind. And people, I can't even tell you how many clients I say, just stop overthinking it. Tell me something that happened to a client this week with you. Oh, this and this. Good. Write about that. Stop overthinking. That's what you're going to write about in your email. Move on. What's the next thing you got to work on? Because we
you go.
Yeah. Because that could
we do. And that they're waiting for perfection. And it's so much thought. And you're like, look, that person has already scrolled through and forgotten. But at least it's like a subliminal message, maybe. At least if they keep seeing your stuff over and over, rather than you going, oh, I didn't get enough likes or comments on that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're still watching, and it's still going in. They're still seeing that you are consistently posting. I'm sure I must bore the pants off. It's okay. You can scroll by. It's okay. But to look, for the listeners out there who are like, okay, she's making it sound like it's really easy. And I have been thinking about maybe collaborating with a book. So if you're watching, this is being streamed out on either YouTube or our social media platform. So you will have in the show notes, you'll have all of Katrina's links to get in touch. But if people are just listening by podcast or the radio, how do they get in touch with you?
You can have two different websites. One for the business, jumpstartyourbiznow.com, jumpstartyourbiznow.com. There's a free trainings page under the Start Here, and there's got 8 different things you could sign up for, different topics and things if you want to learn about speaking or your website or growing your business in general. Sometimes I see people opting in for 6 different things all at one time. I see all their opt-ins. I'm like, oh, that's a hot prospect. But don't let that fool you. Like, just go get them and try me out. That's why I do have free stuff, is because I believe that people need to try you out first before they're willing to usually raise their hand, which I don't bite. You can come to a call. If you want to know the publishing stuff, go to jumpstartpublishing.net, and there's a free training over there too. And I do webinars and events and summits and lots of stuff.
Awesome.
I'm very easily accessible because I want to help people.
And so if you were starting now, right, new business today, what would you focus on and what would you leave? Start your business as you mean to go on, because like we say, everybody in the beginning, do I work? Look, trust me, at the moment, we're just getting ready for a launch. I'm sacrificing a lot of days out and things, but it's like, I've got to do what I've got to do to get this job done. It's not forever. I want to bring in my hours. And for a lot of people, when they are starting out, it's difficult to not do more than probably a normal job, really, in the beginning, if you don't have a team.
Yeah.
Even that, in hindsight, again, maybe I wish I had set my boundaries from the get-go. What would you do if you were starting today?
I would do probably what I'm focusing on today now anyways, but I would have a website, a simple website with some really great opt-ins opportunities, because you got to build your list. And I would focus on driving people there, and I would go to networking events where my target audience is, and I would get as many speaking gigs or create my own speaking gigs, and that's where I would focus. I probably wouldn't even get on social media because I don't need to. Most of my clients come from networking events and speaking gigs. And so I don't need to be on social media, so I probably wouldn't even do that first, because I'd want to focus on getting consistent client flow first, and then maybe I'll venture out into those things to get more exposure and visibility. So honestly, that's where I would start. I would keep it simple.
And yeah, I see that.
And I would sell 3 things, and that's it. I'd have a high end, a middle end, and a low end, just so I could catch the majority of people at where they are.
Great. Yeah. So we do tend to overcomplicate it. And I think people get too caught up in the social media. Yes, okay, I automate a lot, so I don't really spend a lot of time on social media at all.
No.
But it is, again, I think it's down to, again, it's comfort zones. Some people are really quite happy designing stuff in Canva. I can't think of, it's not my gig. And again, spend procrastinating and worrying about what it looks like. I'm like, put it up there. You can always tweak it. My website isn't great. I'm not a copywriter. It is what it is, and I'm continually tweaking. I just see it as just do the thing, and then you can improve on things as you go. Otherwise, if you're going to wait till it's perfect, you'll be waiting forever, because there's no such thing. Give me a perfect one.
No, and your website's never done, by the way. I just added like 5 pages to my website yesterday. Okay, so and tweaked like 5 other pages. So it's always an evolution, and you have to be open to the evolution of you, your business, your website. So yeah.
It's a journey. It's a journey, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's not. That's why they say it's not just a continual journey, and the work is never done. Yeah, as long as you're enjoying it, though, you've got to enjoy it.
This is my short to-do list, by the way. What's funny is I used to have, I don't know, pages and pages of to-do lists, but now because I do delegate more, this seems doable. Ooh. I'm like, oh my God, I made it yesterday because I narrowed it down from this other sheet that was all messy, and then I was already able to cross something off. And yeah, by the end of today, I'm going to cross something else off. And yeah, so I'm feeling good. And
that is what makes you feel good, isn't it? It is that crossing things off.
For me.
And there is something about, we know you're releasing endorphins. Stuff's going on in your body to make you feel good when you do cross. I do the opposite. I try not to. I have one big list, but I have in front of me just the 3.
Yeah.
Because I feel better when I've crossed off 3 as opposed to if I've crossed off 5 out of 20. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great strategy.
It's just a different way of looking at it. But it's amazing how something that simple, and it does make us feel good when we're like, completion, done.
I'm with you. I have a little sticky note for just what needs to get done today.
Yay!
So I highly recommend that too, that strategy.
Yeah, Post-its everywhere. That was a great business, wasn't it? Whoever actually started those. What a great idea was that.
Know, right?
Still using them. Oh, you've got me thinking now, Katrina. What am I going to do this afternoon? I'm going to be thinking about a book. That's really, got me going. Why overthink it? Why make it into this overwhelming, massive journey when it actually could be broken down? And I have to send a message out to my other hosts who wants to do a book.
You help people create their own podcasts, right?
Yeah.
That's your system book. And then your storybook is the doing, stop overthinking.
Oh, yes, the woo-woo. Yeah, because then that'll be my woo-woo. To be fair, I don't even really coach that much anymore. We're just, we're We're helping with the systems. The podcasting thing is my thing again. I've just brought it back in and focus on what you love doing.
Yeah.
Rather than, because there's a difference, isn't there? Again, we can have these ideas of what we think we should do, rather than focusing on what you love doing and turn that into a business, rather than what we've been told, all the different things that we should be, and just do what you love.
Yeah.
Do what you love. It sounds like you've been on purpose for a very long time. You found your purpose at a very young age, obviously, selling ice cream to teenagers.
Before I started my business, I didn't know I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. In fact, I hired a business coach while I was still in my job because I was like, do I become a marketing consultant or do I sell gift baskets? That's really the two things I was thinking. I know. And she helped me go to the marketing consultant because the gift basket thing required way too much startup capital and money invested and very little profit margin. But I thought, oh, I love creating gift baskets. I can do that. Everybody loves gift baskets. But so little money and lots of time spent getting them on. Oh, my God. Thank God for that first business coach that I probably only spent $300 on or something like that. That really made me open my eyes to what was possible. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think there is a coach out there for absolutely everybody to meet them where they are at that time. I wouldn't have even listened to the coach I have right now. If I'd met him 20 years ago, it would have gone totally over my head. So the person I had back then was the right person for me where I was.
Yeah.
And I think that is who doesn't need a coach? I think if I met a coach that didn't have a coach, I think I'd worry.
I know, right?
Because
I had one client who I was one of 5 coaches she had. I'm like, you were my marketing coach, she said, and I have this business coach, and I have that mindset coach, and I have this and I'm like, oh my God, girl. But she's making lots of money, right?
Yeah.
And I've had fitness coaches before because I signed up at the gym many times, never would go. I'm like, all right, so if I'm going to go to the gym, I got to pay somebody to make me go there because I have an appointment.
Accountability. Yes, the accountability.
So instead of $100 a month for the gym membership or whatever it was, I paid $3,300 because it forced me to go there.
But because you want the results, though, isn't it? You could have spent a small amount of money and actually not gone and not got the results from.
I paid for relationship coaching when I was single and dating. I've paid for or invested in hormone stuff, like training with a coach, like hormone testing and coaching through weight loss and that kind of thing. You just do what you got to do, and you're not going to be an expert in all these things. You got to get people on your team and in your corner to help you along the way.
Absolutely, because otherwise it's a very lonely journey and it's going to take you a long time. So we all like shortcuts, don't we? We all like a shortcut.
That's why I call it a jumpstart.
So jumpstart your biz. jumpstartyourbiznnow.com. That's right. Get that. Look, it's been wonderful speaking to you, and you've given me some food for thought. So I hope you've given the listeners some food for thought. It doesn't have to be the big thing. So get in touch, because yes, I've always known it. Having a book would be a great marketing tool, especially if you want to speak on stage, even if you don't want to speak on stage, even if you want to hide behind, even if you're an introvert, you want to hide behind a computer. It's absolutely fine. Same thing. Right? So get in touch to get that started now. Yeah, you have a wonderful rest of your day, because, I know you're 8 hours behind me. And to everybody else, I will be back on Thursday with a Coffee with Karen. So goodbye for now.
The Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.